warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everybody. My name is Darlani. I'm from Urban and Regional Planning, UNISBA. And in this video, will be presented an explanation of one of the research and community service activities in UNISBA. The title of this video presentation is the carrying capacity of the planning Curug Goong using sustainable tourism village. Here's our team. I am as a presenter on this video, and this is Dr. Saraswati as a community service leader, and then Ilan Fardani as community service member, Abdul Kudus community service member, and then two students from Urban and Regional Planning, UNISBA, Ahmad Alham Fadlimat and Risman Eka Tresna. Okay, in this initial section, we will try to explain why the sustainable tourism village approach is needed in improving the village economy. We all know that villages have unique characteristics in the form of physical and social aspect, which are the main assets in the village. This is an attraction for tourists both from the city and even abroad. With the increasing number of tourists visiting the village will directly benefit economically. In village development, it is necessary to consider aspects of culture and local wisdom, so that the uniqueness and originality of the tourism area can be properly preserved. Okay, the goals of this activity is to assess the carrying capacity of development Curug Goong using a sustainable tourism village approach. In other words, it is hoped that with this research, it can be seen the level of tourist capacity who can enter the Curug Goong area in order to pay attention to environmental aspect and the level of tourist satisfaction. Okay, so and then we can enter to methodology. The data collection was carried out using two methods, interview and observation. Observation were made to find out what was around the location of the Curug Goong by assessing the biotic and abiotic components that are around the site. They will be very useful for the preparation of the analysis. Meanwhile, interviews were conducted to village officials to obtain more in-depth information about Curug Goong. The data analysis method approach is carried out by adopting the Cifuentes method. It can be seen that this analysis was carried out by physical carrying capacity and then management capacity. There are correcting factors to result real carrying capacity, and then we can get the effective carrying capacity from this process. Okay, next of leading sector, leading tourism destination, we can be seen in the picture beside. It is just illustration of the planned Curug Goong development, which is built on an area 10 hectares. Planned activities in Curug include skywalk, rafting, agricultural education, cultural space, souvenirs, and then disaster information space. Okay, this is the result of the data collection. This number one, it is about the biotic component. We can be seen in the table above is a component of flora around Curug Goong, while the table below is a component of fauna found around Curug Goong. It can be seen that the dominance of flora is in the form of bamboo tree, while the dominant of fauna is pachet. We calculate the value of the correcting factor from flora and fauna with the appropriate formulation in the presentation. From this calculation, the correcting factor for flora is 0.698, and while the correcting factor for fauna is 0.749. Okay, next, we can enter to how to assess a biotic component. There are three assessments in determining the correcting factor in this component, namely the level of slope, soil type, and rainfall. Soil type, according to the spatial plan of Subang Regency from 2011 until 2031, that the Curug Goong area is dominated by a slope 0 to 8%. So the value of slope on sloping condition is 0.8, while the type of soil in Curug Goong area is dominated by brown andosol. So this has a consequence that the land around the Curug Goong is fertile and productive. So it is given a value of 0.2. Furthermore, the rainfall around Curug Goong, according to the statistical data for the wet season, the rainfall is quite high, namely 100 millimeter, while the dry season is just only 60 millimeter. Therefore, the value of the rainfall is 0.86. Okay, we will enter to the resource section. Using the formula, it is known that the total number of visitors who are still possible to visit the waterfall with an area of 10 hectares, assuming there are 3 tourists shift in 8 hours. There are 3 options for tourism activities in Curug Goong. From the analysis that picnic activities are quite suitable. Next will be calculated the amount of real carrying capacity, namely the carrying capacity that takes into account to the correcting factor, but from the 3 type of soil, slope, and rainfall. There are 3 options for tourism activities in Curug Goong. I think, and based on interview from the villagers, the picnic activities are quite suitable. So total visitor of the Curug Goong based on physical carrying capacity is 40,000 visitors. This point B. How about calculate the analysis of the real carrying capacity? You can see on the screen this RCC this is the formula we can enter to the result. You can see on the table. The real carrying capacity analysis value is obtained a value of 1,195% per day. The carrying capacity of tourists with the consideration of physical and biophysical environmental factors who can visit tourist objects. The number of officer management of the tourist area by using 70 formula based on the result on the interview with the tourism object managers that the officer who actively work in one day are 16 employee. So it is just to cross about RCC, real carrying capacity, with the management capacity. Effective carrying capacity, the value is 1,195. The value of this shows that the capacity of the tourists who can visit tourism object by considering physical and biophysical environmental factor. Thank you very much for watching my video.